All right. So in the past lectures that we have had, I should say, we've had like 8 lectures, and we have covered the question types in listening section of the TOEFL IBT. And tonight, we don't have any question type to cover. It's going to be just the 5 audios, just as you have the listening section itself when you're taking the actual TOEFL IBT. And when you're taking that exam, then you will have these 5 audios, and then you will answer them, right? Answer all the questions. It's going to be that way. And then you have to calculate. You have to count how many questions you get right and how many questions you get wrong. And if there is any improvement, any progression or something. So you'll tell me at the end how many questions you got right. It means that you have to have a record of them. You have to write which questions you got right and which questions you got wrong. All right. So if your question number 1, you said maybe C, and you were right, you should note that. You should say that, okay, this is 1 question right, this is 1 question wrong. And at the end, there are going to be like 28, 29 questions. And out of them, if you're, maybe if you have an accuracy of more than 20 out of 29, then you're really good to go. You can score like over 20 in the actual TOEFL IBT in the listening section, and it's going to be really good. But like if you're having more than 25, then congratulations, you're amazing, and you can score really high. It means that if you can score that high in listening section, you can score higher or maybe something in that level in other sections as well. And it's going to be really good for you because you're going to get like more than 100 of score or maybe near it. And that's really good for all the universities that you want to apply for. I mean, they want something more than 100, more than 80 is good. Like most of the universities want the score of more than 80. And some of the universities in some other Western countries, like the places that the native language is English, they want more than 90, and just some of the universities, just a small percentage, they want more than 100. And then there comes like 2 to 3 universities around the world that they want over 110. So you know that what the target for you guys is, whatever university you want to apply for, it depends on you guys. If you want to apply to the universities maybe in Germany, you're going to need a score of maybe even more than 75, you know? So if you have 75, you're good to go. You can apply for that. If you have a score of more than 90, then you can apply for like all the universities across the Europe. And we're not talking about the UK. You can just apply to the universities in the Europe, right? And now let's start our tonight's session. It's lecture 9, and again, as I said, it's going to start with an audio, right? So it's the first one, the first lecture or conversation, whatever it was. You will see it, you will listen to it, and at the same time, you have to take notes. And then after that, we will have the 5 or 6 questions based on the lecture type that we have or the audio type that we have. You will have those questions, keep record of them, okay? And now I'm playing it in 3, 2, 1.
Now listen to a conversation between a student and a professor.
Good morning, Professor Jacobs. How was your weekend?
Hi, Jane. My weekend was great. Very relaxing. How about yours?
I had a blast. I went to an exhibition at a gallery in the city, and one of the artists was there. I got to meet him. Unfortunately, I don't remember his name, but he does drip art just like Jackson Pollock. It was really cool and inspiring to meet someone who creates art for a living.
Wow, what an exciting weekend. And it sounds like you really have found some inspiration for your drip art project. How's that coming along?
Well, that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about. I think drip art is really unique and interesting, but I'm having trouble with the assignment.
What seems to be the problem?
I started working on the project right after going to the exhibit, but I feel like I'm stuck and I'm worried I won't be able to create a piece that I'm comfortable handing in.
How so? Are you confused about the assignment?
I think I understand the assignment well, but you know how you always tell us to express ourselves in our art? That's why I feel frustrated with this project. I feel like I'm forcing myself to create something, and it just feels fake. What would you do if you were in my shoes?
I completely understand your concern, but that's the whole point of my class. I want you to get out of your comfort zone. Let go and try something new.
Okay, I'll give it another shot today, and I'll see if I can push past the feeling of being stuck.
That's a good idea. And if you're still feeling uneasy, I'm having a workshop this Saturday, and you can join it if you like. You can see some examples of drip art and watch the actual process. That may be really helpful for you. If you stay for a little while afterward, we can discuss any further questions you may have.
That sounds great. Thank you so much. I would love to attend the workshop. I think that it's just what I need to help me finish this project.
You're welcome. I'm glad you stopped by. I'd rather you be confused and ask questions than say nothing and struggle with the project. I'll see you on Saturday.
That was it. And he was really supportive. And this is the question. Question number 1. Why does the student want to talk to the professor? A, to tell the professor about her visit to the art gallery. B, to discuss the assignment about drip art. C, to get some ideas about what her assignments should focus on. And D, to see if she can join the workshop on Saturday.
Miss, are you speaking?
No, I was not. I was not speaking. I'm just waiting for everyone's answer because tonight everyone should answer right. Everyone should write. Please go ahead, everyone, write and count your correct answers, please. Okay, I see those answers only, and I guess that should be enough, right? Like 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that should be enough. These many answers are enough. And yes, you guys, all of you, you're correct. B is the correct answer. Next off, number 2. What does the student mean when she says the assignment feels fake? A, she is having trouble completing the assignment. B, she feels like she is not properly expressing herself in this assignment. C, she does not want to complete the assignment because she does not like drip art. And D, she prefers basing her art on more traditional forms. Again, we have B from everyone. That's awesome. Great. You guys, please, everyone, take note. Take part in this because it's really important to see how much progress you've made. And yes, for the people who have answered, B is the correct answer. Thank you so much. And congrats. Number 3. This is the third question. And again, you have to listen to a part of a passage. Why does the professor say this? Again, let's play it and see what the professor says and then answer that.
I completely understand your concern, but that's the whole point of my class. I want you to get out of your comfort zone. Let go and try something new.
And that was it. Now, why did the professor say this? A, the professor wants to encourage the student to continue even though she feels uncomfortable. B, the professor thinks the student should try harder. C, the professor purposefully made the assignment difficult. D, the professor wants the student to start over and make a new piece of art. I think this is quite easy. Yeah. We have A from 5 people, D from someone, from Hanifa Ruzizada. We have B as well, right? Okay, so let's talk about it. I think no one else is going to talk about it. So B, let's talk about B first. The majority of the people said A. It's good. It looks cool. The professor wants to encourage the student to continue even though she feels uncomfortable. Yeah, that's good. B, the professor thinks the student should try harder. I mean, that's fine. But if we didn't have A, if A was not there, then B would have been the correct answer. But now A covers everything in B, and it actually says more things. So A is a better option. C, nobody thinks C. D, the professor wants the student to start over and make a new piece of art. No, this is definitely not correct. He didn't say that you should start all over again. He only said that you should work on it more and all that. So yeah, it was A. A is the correct answer. Number 4, what suggestions does the professor make to the student? This time you have to select 2. A, you'll just say N or yes, or N or Y, okay? If you think that this exact option is one of the suggestions that the professor made to the student, then you have to say Y, otherwise you'll say N. To attend the professor's workshop this weekend. This is A. What do you think? Is it a yes or a no? We have 2 Ys. Y from everyone. Great. So 1 is A. Everyone is sure on this. Now, the other option, we're not going to talk about it. I want you guys to just guess which one is it. Is it B, is it C, or is it D? Because we have to select 2. One is A. What is the other one? B is to get out of her comfort zone and try a lot of different art forms. C, to discuss the assignment further after the workshop on Saturday. D, to meet with a friend and work on the project together. We have B and C. Good. Nobody says D, I guess. Okay. All right, so A was right. About B, to get out of her comfort zone and try a lot of different art forms. Okay, this is one of those enemies that you have, or I should say the fake friend that you have. Because you see that there is to get out of her comfort zone, and it was exactly mentioned in the audio, but the thing is that it's not correct. Why? Because then after that, there's something else, and try a lot of different art forms. The professor didn't say anything like that. He didn't say that you should try different forms of art. He only said that you should try more on this. You should try to work harder on this, and that you should attend the workshop, he said. So it's A and C, to attend the professor's workshop this weekend, and C, to discuss the assignment further after the workshop on Saturday. It was C. And for the people who said C, that's correct. Next off, why does the professor suggest the student attend his workshop? A, so the student can learn more about drip art. B, to assist with the workshop. C, so the student can meet other drip artists. D, to provide the student with step-by-step demonstration of drip art. Again, I think it's really easy because the professor directly mentioned this. We have A. Great. A from everyone. You guys, you all are correct. Yeah, it's A. So the student can learn more about drip art. Now we have another audio. Again, you have to listen, and this time it's going to be a lecture. And you listen, you'll have 6 questions per this one. And please take notes. In 3, 2, 1.
Now listen to part of a talk in an economics class.
Today we're going to be discussing public goods. So basically, lots of individuals and businesses create new ideas and products every day, and most expect to get some money from their creations. But what happens when you make something that has such a tremendous benefit to society that you can't expect to receive any money in return? This kind of good is a public good. Can anyone think of examples of a public good?
Well, I'm not so sure, but maybe some of the TV channels on basic cable. I mean, anyone with a TV and an antenna can get some channels to watch.
Yes, I didn't think of that before, but you're right, Sam. Basic cable channels are a public good. Another example might be a country's national defense or military. These exist purely to benefit the people.
Professor, is there any way to kind of judge whether a product is a public or private good? I mean, like those TV channels, they might be free, but you still need to buy a TV. So I guess I'm just not sure how you can tell if something is a public good.
Yes, this idea can be a bit confusing. I guess it's best to contrast it with a private good, say, a piece of pizza. A piece of pizza can be bought and sold pretty easily, and one of the reasons why is because it's so easy to separate. I suppose one of the most defining characteristics of public goods is that they are almost impossible to separate. TV airways and the national defense system are not things you can really break down into pieces. It's the same with public Wi-Fi. Many cities are now offering free Wi-Fi to residents. Wi-Fi only exists in the air. You can't hold Wi-Fi and separate it into pieces.
Oh, okay, Professor. I think I get it now. But in the book, they mention the terms non-excludable and non-rivalrous when trying to explain public goods, and I didn't really get it.
Great, I was just going to get to that. So, besides being hard to separate, economists usually classify something as a public good if it is both non-excludable and non-rivalrous. Now, I know these terms are quite a mouthful, but they're fairly simple ideas. Let's start with non-excludable. Non-excludable means that it is either expensive or nearly impossible to exclude someone from using the good. Let's say an individual, who we will call Larry, buys a private good like a piece of pizza. Then he can exclude others from eating that pizza. However, if national defense is being provided, then it includes everyone. If you strongly disagree with your country's defense policies, the national defense still protects you. You cannot choose to be unprotected, and national defense cannot protect everyone else and exclude you. The second main characteristic of a public good is that it is non-rivalrous, which means that when one person uses the public good, another can also use it. With a private good, like pizza, if our subject Larry is eating the pizza, then another person cannot eat it. That is, the two people are rivals in consumption. With a public good like national defense, Larry's consumption of national defense does not reduce the amount for others, so they are non-rivalrous in this area. A number of government services are also examples of public goods. For instance, it would not be easy to provide fire and police service for some people, not everyone. Protecting some necessarily means protecting others too. Paying for public goods is always a challenging dilemma for both business leaders and politicians. The key insight in paying for public goods is to find a way of assuring that everyone will make a contribution. For example, if people come together through the political process and agree to pay taxes and make group decisions about the quantity of public goods, then they can all feel like they are being treated equally because everyone contributes.
That was it for this audio, and it was such an interesting one. I just like this one. Now the questions are, we're not going to talk about the lectures because we're short on time. And the other thing is that if we talk about it, if we discuss it, it means that it's kind of like a repetition and you're going to be able to answer the questions not based on the listening that you had, but based on what you heard later on in the class, right? So because of that, we're not going to discuss them. The first question is, what is the lecture mainly about? A, why pizza is considered a public good? B, the pros and cons of public goods. C, what public goods are and their characteristics. D, how to tell if someone is a private or, sorry, something. It's not someone. Oh my God. I was like, what? Someone is private? Okay, something is a private or a public good. This is too easy. I mean, if you don't get this, then it's going to be really bad. No, just 5 people. That's right. C, it is. What public goods are and their characteristics. Number 2, how is the lecture organized? A, the topic is introduced and then described, followed by several examples. B, the professor continues with the topic from the reading and answers questions. C, the two topics are compared and contrasted. D, the professor lists the characteristics of the main topic. You have D and B, A. Good. Okay, many of the people think that it's B, but we want someone, we'll just have someone discuss this, okay? Anyone who wants to discuss this, anyone who wants to elaborate on this, you can please raise your hands. Malalai Azad, go ahead.
To be honest, this was for me a hard one. I mean that it was a little bit hard, but I think the professor started explaining the public goods, and then a student asked a question, and the professor and the student after that start discussing about that question. So I think that B is the best answer.
Okay, great. You think this way. We'll have someone who thinks C is correct. Only one person? Yeah, only Qayyum Afghan. Qayyum Afghan? Could you clarify a little more on the option that you chose? All right, it's fine. For A, Rabia Nizam.
Okay, ma'am. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
As I heard the listening, although my internet connection was not good and it was cutting sounds, but I heard that the professor introduced the public good and then asked an example from students, then continued describing the examples and yes.
Okay, great, great. And Madina Amini, she says C is correct. The message wasn't sent. Okay. You think C is correct? The two topics are compared and contrasted that way? Okay. All right. We have A, B, C, and D, I guess. Do we have D as well? No, we don't have D. Thank God. All right. Yeah. At the end, yeah, two topics were compared. That's fine. That's right. But that's not how the lecture was organized, because it wasn't like that from the start. If you have the compare and contrast type, it would be like there are two types of this, or wait, it would be one thing is this and the other is this. It would be introduced at the start, and then they would say something like we would compare it, or they would say that the differences between them are these, and the similarities between them are these things. So no, it was not the compare and contrast thing. It was either A or B, and the majority have said B, but it's A, in fact. The topic is introduced and then described, followed by several examples. That's the correct answer. And I'm sorry for that. Okay, number 3. Based on the information from the listening, indicate which characteristic on the left belongs to either non-excludable, non-rivalrous, or neither. This question is worth 2 points. Now, you should say that if pizza is non-excludable, non-rivalrous, or is it like neither one of them? Like, how do we say? It should be both. We should say both, right? Is it both non-excludable, non-rivalrous, or wait a second, what's wrong with me? It's not both. It literally says neither. It means that it's not non-excludable, it's not non-rivalrous, and that's neither. Then we have use of the good does not reduce what is available for others. Is it non-excludable, or is it non-rivalrous, or is it none of them? So you have to say that, okay? Let's talk about pizza. What do you think? Is it non-excludable? Is it non-rivalrous? Or is it something else? Not non-excludable, not non-rivalrous. Okay, you guys, you're writing N, and they all have N. Is it non-excludable or non-rivalrous or neither? Okay, non-excludable, one person said. Sohrab Siddiqui, what do you think? By N, you mean? Neither, great. It means that it's not non-excludable, it's not non-rivalrous. Okay, now I get that maybe you didn't get this lecture correctly, you guys, because you're taking lots of time, and this is such an easy one. For pizza, it was really easy. And okay, we'll wait some more seconds for you. Okay, that's fine. It's neither non-excludable nor non-rivalrous because, well, what was non-excludable? It means that you can exclude others. If you're saying that excludable, it means that you can exclude others, right? And if it's not rivalrous, it means that it can be a rival to other thing. And if we say non-excludable, it means that it cannot exclude other things. It cannot exclude other people to eat pizza. While it can, if you're eating pizza, it means that you actually are excluding another person to eat that exact slice of pizza. And rivalrous, if you're, I should say that. I mean, when you're eating pizza, it means that being a rival to another person. Neither. The second one, use of the good does not reduce what is available for others. What about this one? Non-excludable or non-rivalrous or neither? But you have to pay a little more attention to them. And don't worry if you can't pay attention here. Sometimes you're just not in the mood for listening to anything. But know that if you're in the actual TOEFL test, okay, I think my voice went. If you're in the actual TOEFL test, don't worry, you're gonna have this exact attention. You would be really attentive because it's a thing. Like, you can't just mess it, right? You can't just mess it up because of what? Because you cannot be attentive at that time. You would have that mindset, so don't worry. You'd be good. You'd be really good, I'm sure. Now, this is right. It's non-rivalrous. And the last one, national defense. What about that one? Non-excludable, non-rivalrous, neither. Not want to. All right. We have any of them. Example of taxes. Yeah. Kinda. Yeah, that's good. Now, this is the fourth question. What is an example of a public good? Again, select two. Which one is an example of public good? A is a slice of pizza. B, produces in a grocery store. C, TV channels on basic cable. D, police service. You have to choose two. Okay, C, D. Yeah, that's right. All of you are right. C, D. Awesome. Number 5. Why does the professor say this? Again, listen to part of this talk, and then we'll come back to it. And I guess this is only the second audio. Yeah, so far.
So, besides being hard to separate, economists usually classify something as a public good if it is both non-excludable and non-rivalrous. Now, I know these terms are quite a mouthful, but they're fairly simple ideas.
Now, I guess that's easy, I believe. But still, let's look at the options that we have, because sometimes, not sometimes, but most of the times, you do know the answer, but when the answers came, you'd be like, what the hell? So A is, these words might be difficult to say, but their definitions are very easy to understand. B, she believes that the students will be confused by these terms. C, your mouth will be full if you try to say these terms together. D, she does not really think students should be confused by these words. I think, again, it's easy. You do know that much, right? We have B. Good. Why? We have B, and what about others? B from 2 people. Good. We have 1A as well. Thank God no one said C. I'm happy for that. We have A from 2 people. Good. 3. And congrats for the people who say A. A is the correct. Oh God, we got a C. Who said C? Kayum Afghan, do you really think that it's C? I mean, I did say it that it's E, but it's A. It's not B, neither B nor C nor D. But if you think C is correct, it means that your English level is not really good, because when you say that it's a mouthful, it doesn't mean that your mouth will be full if you try to say them. And that's good. A is the correct answer. These words might be difficult to say, but their definitions are very easy to understand. B is good too, but still A is a better option. We'd go with A. And the last question for this audio, why does the professor talk about pizza during the lecture? A, to prove that the concept of public and private goods is actually simple. B, to help explain the concept of public goods in a way that is easy for the students to understand. C, to show the similarities between public and private goods. D, to keep the students interested in the lecture. I mean, when it comes to real life, teachers usually does this. Teachers, I said teachers, okay. They usually do this because they want all of these. If they want to prove that it's actually simple, if they want to, make it easy for the students, if they want the students to be interested, if they want the students not to be sleepy and bored, yeah, they provide these examples. But now in the TOEFL, you have to choose just one. And you guys have chosen B, which is correct. And I'm proud of you. That's correct. Thank you. Now we have the third audio. Let's listen to that one. And then we'll come back to its questions. In 3, 2, 1.
Now listen to part of a talk in a psychology class.
Now that we're on the topic of memory, it's a good time to talk about the case of Henry Mollison. Okay, so where to start? Well, Henry Mollison was better known as HM in the scientific community. You see, he is probably, no, definitely, the most important patient in the history of neuroscience. Before his death in 2008, Mollison was the subject of over 1,200 research articles. So, what made HM so special? Well, a little background about his life. Mollison had epilepsy, which is when you lose control of much of your body and start having seizures. Well, by the age of 27, HM's seizures were getting much worse. In an attempt to control his seizures, HM underwent brain surgery to remove very important pieces of his brain, his hippocampus and his amygdala. I'll put that on the board here. So the doctor in charge of this procedure believed it would cure his epilepsy. Well, he was right in that HM's seizures almost completely stopped. But there was an even more drastic and devastating consequence of this procedure. Mollison lost his ability to create new memories. This is referred to in medical terminology as severe anterograde amnesia, and I'll put that on the board too. You see, Henry no longer had the ability to make conscious memories of specific facts like names, dates, and recent happenings. So, if you introduced yourself to Henry at any time after the surgery, within 30 seconds of your introduction, he would completely forget ever meeting you. HM would wake up every day in the same state of mind he had before the surgery. He could not make any new conscious memories. In 1962, about 10 years after his surgery, a young surgeon named Suzanne Corkin met HM and realized that, while a tragedy in most respects, HM's condition provided her with a unique opportunity to analyze the function of specific areas of the brain and how they relate to learning and memory. Even though he suffered from amnesia, much of Henry's brain function besides memory remained intact. He was a friendly guy. Also, since he had almost no short-term memory ability, he would never get tired of the boring brain activities needed for the research. Studying HM's brain led to some fascinating discoveries in the field of neuroscience. Up until the 20th century, neuroscience had very little understanding of how the brain worked. HM's rewired brain quickly proved that memory was not spread throughout the brain. Henry's acute anterograde amnesia had little effect on his self-knowledge or intelligence prior to the age of 25. Henry's case and others like it soon revealed that declarative long-term memories are stored in the area of the brain known as the hippocampus. Through HM, researchers discovered that the brain possesses multiple systems for storing and retrieving memories that are dispersed in different but specific locations in the brain. HM could not form any new conscious memories after his surgery, but he could improve on his ability to perform tasks. It soon became clear that the brain had another type of memory system, called muscle memory, which did not rely on conscious memories. In one of her experiments, Corkin would have HM sketch a figure through the reflection of a mirror. This is a challenging task that takes time to practice and master. Mollison had developed a new skill subconsciously through repetition. Sometimes referred to as motor learning, HM confirmed that new skills can be learned through repetition over time, disassociated from conscious memories. This doesn't mean that skills like playing the piano or drawing a face rely solely on muscle memory. However, it plays a much bigger role in our retention of skills than previously suspected. While there were some benefits for research, Henry's unique amnesia made it almost impossible for him to remember any new events after the surgery. For example, the death of his parents occurred later in his life, and he couldn't remember it. Whenever he was reminded of his parents' demise, the pain returned as if he were hearing it again for the first time.
Oh my God. We should be thankful for our own minds, right? And for our brains, because this is just pathetic. It's really bad. I mean, the last part that he said, and I've actually seen some. There was some grandma kinda. I've seen her, and she didn't have amnesia per se. She had Alzheimer's, but it was really, really improved. Like it had this severe type of Alzheimer's. And the thing with her was that if you went to her, you were like, hello, I'm this person, and I'm your daughter's friend. And then, like 10 minutes later, she would come again and she'd be like, who are you? Again, she would ask this. And in that time, like for 2 hours that I went there, she asked this question for like 10 times. It was really hard. It was tiring for, I mean, I'm just imagining how hard it would be for her family and both for her as well. So yeah, let's just hope for her health, and I just hope that this doesn't happen to anyone. Now the first question is, what is the lecture mainly about? A, muscle memory compared to regular memory. B, the different areas of the brain that store memory. C, the information learned from experiments on Henry Molaison. D, what happens when a person loses their ability to make new memories? They'll look good. We have C. Awesome. C is correct. Number 2, how does the professor organize the lecture? Again, the same type of question. A, he describes the importance of one man to the scientific community. B, he compares different scientific theories of epilepsy. C, he introduces a topic, then provides a few specific examples. D, he discusses different types of brain research. Okay, this one would take a little time. We got D from Safia. C. Okay. We have C and D. Nobody thinks A nor B. Okay. C looks good to me. He introduces a topic that uses specific examples, but not really. I don't think that C is the correct option because he didn't introduce that topic. He didn't introduce the amnesia or anything else. It was just surgery. It was the life event of the person, right? So it was not a topic. He didn't say anything like introduction about it. So no, it was not that way. C is not there. Now we have A, B, C. Nobody said B. Just one person, Malala Azad. She thinks that A is correct, and we have 3 people. Yeah, we have a B as well. Okay. Okay, that's good. But the correct answer is A. Malala Azad, again, you're correct. He describes the importance of one man to the scientific community. That's it. And that's only because the rest of the answers, they're just not correct. That's why A is a better option. It's not completely correct still. B, he compares different scientific theories. That's definitely not correct. D, he discusses different types of brain research. Again, not correct. These two, well, I'd say that they're absolutely not correct. Just C was a good rival, but C is not correct again. We talked about it. Now, number 3, what does the professor imply about Henry Molaison's situation? A, although he was great to scientific research, his life was still difficult at times. B, Henry was lucky surgical procedure that successfully stopped his seizures. C, scientists should have performed more experiments on Henry before his death. D, doctors had to remind Henry every day about what happened to him. This is the implication again. So give a little bit of attention to that part. A from everyone, correct, completely correct. Number 4, after his surgery, why would Henry Molaison forget about meeting someone 30 seconds later? A, he did not try hard enough to remember. B, he lost his ability to make new memories. C, he had problems with his long-term memory. D, in order to make new memories, he had to be physically active. We got B. Awesome. B is the one. B is correct. Yeah. His ability to make new memories. Number 5. How was Henry Molaison able to develop new skills? A, he started gaining back his ability to remember certain things. B, he took so many tests that eventually able to remember some conscious memory. I think this one is not that hard, I'd say. We got D. D is the one. Yep, that's right. Thank you. And number 6. Why does the professor say this? Well, let's listen to this one, and then we can discuss it. It was 3. Yeah. Third one. And 3, 2, 1.
In
Wait, why is it not?
In an attempt to control his seizures, H.M. underwent brain surgery to remove very important pieces of his brain, his hippocampus and his amygdala. Now, I'll put that on the board here.
That was it. Why did the professor say that? A, to emphasize the importance of the hippocampus and amygdala to the lecture. B, to make sure that the students know how to spell the words hippocampus and amygdala. C, to make sure the students know what the professor is talking about. D, to give the students some help taking notes. What is the reason behind the professor writing those 2 words? Everyone? B, okay. Out is not the correct option. Well, suppose in this type, does he want to help you taking notes? Does he want to show you how the words are spelled? Does he want to emphasize on the importance? Or does he want to make sure that you know what he's talking about? I guess it's more of A. Like when somebody talks about something, they want you to be attentive and they want you to listen about the description of that exact thing because it's important and they want to concentrate on that. Now we go to the next audio and we'll listen to that one. The last one should be your assignment. You have to work on it. And for this 4th audio, you'll have it. And then after that, you can count how many questions you got right. Okay?
Now listen to a conversation between a student and an IT worker.
Hi, I have a big problem that I need your help with.
What's going on?
Well, I was just at the library to print some stuff off for class, and when I went to open my laptop and get started, the screen went blank, and all these funny symbols started showing up. Then my computer just turned off. I don't know what to do. My computer won't turn back on. I'm scared that something bad happened, like a virus, or it crashed.
Oh dear, that sounds like a potential virus to me. Let me take a look at your computer so I can try and scan and find the problem. Did you back up your work?
You know what? It's really weird, but I actually just backed up everything this morning onto my external hard drive, which I haven't done in a really long time. It's like I just had a feeling something was going to happen, and now I can't believe that something actually is wrong.
That's really lucky that you backed everything up, because in this situation, who knows if you'll be able to get everything back. It will take time for me to scan it and see what's the problem. Hopefully I won't have to, but I may need to clean the hard drive, in which case you would lose any information on your computer. If you prefer, you can take it to the company where you bought your computer and have them take a look, but that could cost you at least $500.
That's crazy. I trust you, though, and I think whatever you decide is best. That's what I'll do. I don't want to spend $500 if they're just going to tell me the same thing you would.
Okay, I'll go ahead and keep your computer here, and I'll send you an email when the scan is done, and I'll find out what's going on and what can be done to fix it.
Do you know how long that's going to take? I still need to print some files for class.
Well, I can't say for sure, but I think you should take your external hard drive to the library and print your files off at the library computers in the meantime. Besides, if I have to swipe your hard drive, there won't be anything on your laptop to print.
That's true. Well, at least that fire's put out. Now, I just have to worry about my computer getting back to normal.
And this is the first question. What problem is the student having? A, he thinks his computer may have a virus. B, he does not want to for someone to fix his computer. C, he forgot to back up his computer before it crashed. And D, he cannot print his assignment before class. This was easy. A, we have. Great. A is the correct one. Number 2, what does the IT worker imply when she tells the student he is lucky that he backed up his files? The first option is his computer will probably recover since the student backed up his files. B, the computer files are still available to the student even if the virus erases them. C, if the student did not back up his files, then he would have to pay to get them back. D, the student will be able to print what he needs for the class since he backed up his files. I guess it's easy, right? B, you got it. That's correct. Number 3, listen again to part of the passage. What does the student mean when he says this? And we'll listen to it. We have one more for this one. And in 3, 2, 1.
That's true. Well, at least that fire's put out. Now, I just have to worry about my computer getting back to normal.
That was it. Now, the question is, he is glad that the fire in the library is no longer an issue. B, he only has to worry about his computer getting fixed, and now that his there is no end. Fixed now that his printing problem is solved. C, he is worried the IT worker will not be able to fix his computer. D, he is unsure about whether he should have a computer company fix his computer. I think again, it's really easy. B, that's right. B is the correct answer. Next off, listen again to part of the passage. And what does the IT worker this time imply when she says this? Let's see.
If you prefer, you can take it to the company where you bought your computer and have them take a look, but that could cost you at least $500.
Great. Now this is the question. What does the IT worker imply when she says this? The student will have to pay a lot of money to have his computer fixed. B, the student have the computer company fix his computer. C, the student will not like it. D. Awesome. D is the one. Yeah, that's correct. Next off, and the last audio for tonight. When will the IT worker be done fixing the student's computer? A, she will have it done by the end of the day. B, the student can come get it after his class. C, she is unsure, but she will email the student when it is ready. D, she cannot fix the computer, so the student will take it to the company. C, lots of people, and awesome. That's great. Thank you so much. Count how many questions you got right. And until then, we'll have the attendance. Oh, yeah, there we have it. There you go with the attendance form. Submit your attendance and let me know how many questions you got right. Write them in the comment box and we'll see which student got the most. Well, I have to tell you one thing, that it was not 20 questions. Because we didn't have the last audio, right? And questions from the lectures. It means that we had only 22 questions. So out of 22 questions, if you got 17 right, it's really good. I should just say congratulations to you. And let me see what's the percentage of that. It's like 77%. That's good. 77% of 30 might be something like 23. Around 23. It's really cool. If you have this, you're gonna have around 23 questions. 3 score in listening section, and I'm happy about that. Mustafa Sadat said 3 mistakes. It means that you got 9 questions right, if I'm not wrong. Wait, not 9. Wait a second. What am I saying? I don't know what's wrong with my brain today. It's 20. Questions 3 wrong would be 9 or 26. If you keep like this, you can have 19. Just the way that Malalai Azad's were, right? But that one was, yeah, 5 mistakes. Yeah. For the people who have 5 mistakes, it's like 23 something. For the people who had 3 mistakes, okay, my sound got cut. Oh, that's it. I think anyone else would say it. And you can count it that way as well. Like, if you don't want to say it in the comment section, you can divide it by 22 and then multiply it by 30. You'd get what would be your score in the listening. It's not like the real one. It's just a guess that you might have this score. You'd be able to get around this score. Okay? Because yeah, and one more thing, that when I used to do this in the actual TOEFL IBT, like the test, I used to get like 23 from the practice tests, and it made me sad. But the actual TOEFL test, I got 28 in the listening section, and I believe that maybe when you're in the classes, you don't pay attention. And when you're in the actual TOEFL test, you pay lots of attention. So don't worry about it, okay? But again, I have to tell you that sometimes the practice tests, they're deceiving, because you think that, well, I might get 28, but then you see that in the actual TOEFL test, you'd get 23 or something. So you have to work on it, and you shouldn't just underestimate it, okay? Now, if you have any questions, any doubts, you're able to just proceed and tell me.